One day, a young man, filled with curiosity and a deep longing to understand life, approached a wise teacher and said, "Master, please tell me, what is the true value of human life?" The teacher looked at him with calm eyes and a gentle smile. Then, without answering directly, he reached into a small wooden box beside him and pulled out a shining, beautifully polished stone. Its surface sparkled under the sunlight, reflecting shades of deep red and gold. He handed the stone to the young man and said, "Before I give you your answer, I want you to do something. Take this stone into the town. Go to different shops, markets, and stalls. Show it to people and ask them how much they're willing to pay for it. But no matter what anyone offers you, do not sell it. Just observe and return to me after that." Although puzzled by the request, the young man nodded in agreement and set off on his journey, holding the mysterious stone carefully in his hands. His first stop was at a fruit stall where an old orange seller stood arranging his baskets. The young man approached him and said, "Sir, I have this stone. Would you like to buy it? What do you think it's worth?" The orange seller took the stone in his wrinkled hands, examined it for a few seconds, then said, "It's shiny and looks interesting. I can give you 12 fresh oranges for it." The young man smiled politely, declined the offer, and walked away. He then went to a nearby vegetable stall where a woman was selling sacks of potatoes and onions. He repeated the same question. The vendor took the stone, turned it over in her hand, and said, "It's quite pretty. Maybe it could be used as decoration. I'll give you a sack of potatoes in exchange." Again, the young man thanked her and moved on, feeling more curious than ever. Next, he found a goldsmith's shop in the center of the market. The shop gleamed with jewelry and ornaments. When the goldsmith saw the stone, his eyes widened. He pulled out a magnifying lens, studied the stone carefully, and said, "Where did you find this? This is no ordinary piece. I'll give you 1 lakh gold coins for it." The young man was stunned, but he remembered the teacher's words. "I'm sorry, I can't sell it," he replied. The goldsmith leaned forward and said, "I'll double it. Take 5 lakh gold coins. This stone is extremely valuable." The young man, now more intrigued than ever, again refused and left the shop. Finally, he reached the grand store of a famous diamond merchant. Everything about the place looked luxurious and refined. When the merchant saw the stone, he didn't say a word at first. He gently took the stone from the young man, laid down a red velvet cloth on the table, placed the stone on it with utmost care, and stared at it silently. Then he looked at the young man and said, almost in a whisper, "Do you even know what you're holding? This is one of the rarest gemstones I've ever seen. It's flawless, radiant, and unbelievably precious. Even if I sold my entire shop, my house, and everything I own, I still wouldn't be able to afford it. This stone is not just valuable, it's priceless." The young man stood in silence, overwhelmed. He bowed, took the stone back, and returned to his teacher. He placed the stone before the wise master and shared every detail of his journey. The fruit seller's offer of 12 oranges, the vegetable vendor's sack of potatoes, the goldsmith's generous price, and the diamond merchant's awe and reverence. Then he asked, "Master, I still don't understand. How can the same stone have such wildly different values? What does this mean?" The teacher smiled, his eyes calm as a still lake, and said, "Now, my friend, here is your answer. Just like this stone, your worth will be seen differently by different people. Some will see you as worth a few fruits. Some will offer a little more. A few might even recognize your brilliance. But only those who truly understand value will know how priceless you really are. In life, people will judge you based on their background, their level of understanding, their experiences, and their vision. Some will not see anything special in you. Others might try to buy your time, your energy, or your gifts for far less than their worth. But you must never forget your true value." He continued, "Most people go through life not realizing they are rare, unique, and irreplaceable. They allow others to define their worth. They settle for less because they never looked within and recognized the treasure they carry inside. Your value doesn't decrease just because someone else doesn't see it. The world can only understand your worth when you do." The young man listened, deeply moved. His confusion had turned into clarity. "So," the teacher said finally, "remember this. Never let someone else decide your price. Don't hand over your worth to others. Know who you are, believe in your value, and the world will one day recognize it too. And from that day forward, the young man never doubted his worth again.